The arrival. The vast expanse of space stretched endlessly, punctuated by the twinkling of distant stars and the occasional flash of a passing comet. Amidst this cosmic tapestry, the Galactic Union Education Station hung like a shimmering jewel, its sleek metallic surface reflecting the light of nearby celestial bodies. This marvel of engineering served as a beacon of knowledge and cooperation, drawing students from every corner of the known universe. Today, however, the station buzzed with an unusual energy. Whispers and excited chatter filled the corridors as news spread of a most unexpected arrival, a human teacher. Humans, hailing from the insignificant blue planet called Earth, were relative newcomers to the galactic stage. Their inclusion in the Galactic Union had been a topic of heated debate, given their species' propensity for both remarkable innovation and alarming destruction. Professor Zara Mackenzie stepped off the transport shuttle, her dark curls bouncing as she took in the otherworldly sights around her. Despite her best efforts to maintain a professional demeanor, she couldn't suppress the childlike wonder that danced in her eyes. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and compositions moved about the docking bay, some floating, others slithering, and a few seemingly defying the laws of physics altogether. A gelatinous mass of swirling colors approached her, forming what appeared to be a rudimentary face. "Welcome aboard, Professor Mackenzie," it gurgled, the words somehow clear despite the lack of a visible mouth. "I am Administrator Blorks. We are curious about your presence here." Zara smiled, extending a hand before realizing the futility of the gesture. "Thank you, Administrator. I'm honored to be here and excited to bring a fresh perspective to your physical education program." Blorks's body rippled in what Zara assumed was the equivalent of a skeptical raised eyebrow. "Yes, well, your species' approach to physical education is precisely what concerns us. We've reviewed your proposal, and frankly, many of us find it alarming." As they moved through the station's winding corridors, Zara noticed the wide berth given to her by passing aliens. Some regarded her with obvious curiosity, while others seemed to recoil in fear. She sighed inwardly, realizing the challenge that lay ahead. "I understand your concerns, Administrator," Zara said, her voice filled with determination. "But I assure you the game I'm proposing, Capture the Flag, is not about violence or domination. It's about strategy, teamwork, and pushing one's limits in a safe, controlled environment." They arrived at a massive circular chamber that Zara assumed was the gymnasium. The space was filled with an assortment of bizarre equipment, anti-gravity pods, mental acuity enhancers, and devices she couldn't begin to fathom. Blorks's form shimmered with what might have been amusement. "And how do you propose to implement this Capture the Flag in a setting where some students can teleport, others exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, and a few are quite literally incorporeal?" Zara's eyes lit up at the challenge. "That's the beauty of it, Administrator. We'll adapt the rules to accommodate everyone's unique abilities. The core concept remains the same: 2 teams, 2 flags, and the objective of capturing your opponent's flag while protecting your own. But how each species goes about it, well, that's where the real fun and learning begin." A crowd of alien students had gathered at the entrance, their curiosity finally overcoming their apprehension. Zara turned to address them, her voice clear and inviting. "Hello, everyone. I'm Professor Mackenzie, and I'm here to introduce you to a new way of thinking about physical education. In my class, we won't just be exercising our bodies, or whatever physical form you happen to possess. We'll be challenging our minds, pushing our limits, and learning to work together in ways you've never imagined." A tentacle being near the front raised an appendage. "But Professor, how can we participate in a physical game when our species are so different? It seems illogical." Zara's smile widened. "Excellent question. That's exactly why we're here. Together, we're going to create a version of Capture the Flag that not only accommodates our differences but celebrates them. Each of you will bring your unique abilities to the game, making it richer and more complex than anything played on Earth." A ripple of excitement passed through the crowd. Even Administrator Blorks seemed to be vibrating with a newfound interest. Now, Zora continued, her enthusiasm infectious. Let's start by dividing into 2 teams. Don't worry about physical similarities. In fact, the more diverse your team, the better. As the students began to mingle and form groups, Zara caught sight of a solitary figure hovering at the back of the room. It appeared to be composed entirely of softly glowing energy, its form constantly shifting and pulsing. Zara approached it gently. "Hello there. Would you like to join one of the teams?" The being's glow dimmed slightly. I am not sure I can participate. I have no physical form to capture or defend a flag." "Nonsense," Zara exclaimed. "Your unique nature could be a tremendous asset. Perhaps you could act as a living barrier, or use your energy to create illusions to confuse the opposing team. The only limit is our imagination." As the energy being's glow intensified with excitement, Zara turned back to the assembled students, her heart swelling with purpose. This was why she had traveled across the galaxy, leaving behind everything familiar. Here, in this impossible classroom, filled with beings beyond her wildest dreams, she had the chance to prove that the human spirit of innovation, adaptability, and cooperation could be a force for good in the universe. "All right, everyone," she called out. "Let's make some flags and start setting up our play area. Remember, in this game, there are no limitations, only possibilities. Show me what you can do." As the diverse array of aliens began to buzz with activity, Zara caught Administrator Blork's eye. The gelatinous being had formed what she could only interpret as a smile. "Perhaps," Blorks gurgled, "we were too hasty in our judgment of human physical education. This should be most enlightening." Zara nodded, her eyes gleaming with determination. "Trust me, Administrator. By the time we're done, Capture the Flag will be the talk of the galaxy. Now, let's play. The great game." The gymnasium of the Galactic Union Education Station had been transformed. Where once stood incomprehensible alien exercise equipment, now lay a vast, ever-shifting landscape. Holographic projectors created an undulating terrain of hills, valleys, and obstacles that seemed to defy the laws of physics, perfect for a game where the players themselves often did the same. Zora Mackenzie stood at the center, her eyes gleaming with excitement as she surveyed the 2 teams. On one side, Team Nova, their flag a shimmering nebula of purples and blues. On the other, Team Quasar, their banner a pulsing beacon of golden light. "All right, everyone," Zora called out, her voice carrying across the chamber. "Remember the basics. Capture the other team's flag and bring it back to your base. Use your natural abilities, but remember, teamwork is key. Are we ready?" A chorus of alien affirmations filled the air, some verbal, others telepathic, and a few expressed through bioluminescent displays. Zara raised her hand. "On your marks, get set, go." The game erupted into beautiful chaos. Zrilnak, a crystalline being from Team Nova, immediately shattered into 1,000 glittering shards, each fragment darting off in a different direction to confuse the opposition. Meanwhile, Glooptar, a gelatinous member of Team Quasar, oozed rapidly across the terrain, leaving a slippery trail in their wake. From her vantage point, Zara watched in awe as strategies began to unfold. The energy being she had encouraged earlier, now named Lumina, had taken her words to heart. They pulsed and shifted, creating dazzling illusions that left opposing team members disoriented. "Incredible," murmured Administrator Blorks, who had insisted on observing the game. "I've never seen such creative use of abilities." Zara nodded, her heart swelling with pride. That's the beauty of it. They're not just exercising their bodies or powers, they're stretching their imaginations, learning to see their abilities in new ways. As she spoke, a commotion erupted near Team Quasar's flag. Zrilnak had reformed, their crystalline body refracting light to create a disorienting prismatic effect. They reached for the flag, but suddenly found themselves encased in a bubble of anti-gravity, courtesy of Flotix, a gaseous entity with control over localized gravity fields. Excellent defensive move, Zara called out. Zrilnak, how might you counter that? The crystalline being vibrated in concentration, then began to rotate rapidly. The prismatic effect intensified, turning the anti-gravity bubble into a disco ball of confusion. Flotix's concentration wavered and the bubble popped. On the other side of the field, Team Nova's flag was under siege. Gluptar had managed to engulf the flag in their gelatinous body and was making a break for it. But they hadn't counted on Whisper, a being composed of living sound waves. Whisper modulated their frequency, creating a harmonics pattern that caused Gluptar to vibrate uncontrollably, losing their grip on the flag. Zara clapped her hands in delight. Brilliant use of physics, Whisper. Gluptar, how might you dampen sound waves in the future? The game continued, each moment bringing new surprises. Xenon, a multi-dimensional being, kept facing in and out of reality, making it nearly impossible to track their movements. In response, Oculus, with its hundreds of eyes spread across its amorphous body, took on the role of Team Nova's early warning system. As the match progressed, Zara noticed something remarkable. The initial divisions between species were breaking down. Beings that had never interacted before were now calling out to each other, strategizing on the fly, and even physically cooperating in ways she'd never imagined possible. Lumi, a photonic life form, had merged its essence with Zrilnak's crystalline body, turning them into a dazzling beacon that drew the attention of the entire opposing team. In that moment of distraction, Whisper, modulated to a frequency almost too low to perceive, slipped past the defenses and snagged Team Quasar's flag. The gymnasium erupted in cheers and a cacophony of alien sounds. Zara was about to call the game when she noticed something odd. The flag in Whisper's possession was changing. Its golden light was dimming, replaced by swirls of purple and blue. Wait, Zara called out, her voice cutting through the celebration. Something's not right. As if on cue, both flags began to warp and twist, their energies intermingling in impossible ways. A hush fell over the gymnasium as everyone stared in bewilderment. Professor Mackenzie, Administrator Blorks burbled urgently, "What is happening?" Zara shook her head, her mind racing. "I'm not sure. This isn't part of the game. Everyone stay back." But it was too late. With a blinding flash and a sound that seemed to bend reality itself, the two flags collapsed into a singularity. The resulting shockwave knocked everyone off their feet, or equivalent appendages. As the light faded and the ringing in their ears subsided, the players looked up to see a sight that defied explanation. Where the two flags had been, there now floated a swirling vortex of energy, neither wholly Nova nor Quasar, but something entirely new. Zara approached cautiously, her scientific curiosity overriding her caution. "It's beautiful," she breathed. Lunina, the energy being, pulsed with excitement. "Professor, I can sense something. It's like the vortex is alive, aware." Before Zara could respond, tendrils of energy shot out from the vortex, touching each player in turn. As they did, a flood of sensations and emotions washed over the gymnasium. For a brief, transcendent moment, every being present could feel what it was like to exist as every other species. Crystalline beings experienced the freedom of a gaseous form. Energy entities felt the solidity of physical matter. Multi-dimensional beings were constrained to a linear existence, while linear beings glimpsed the infinite possibilities of multiple dimensions. As quickly as it had begun, the phenomenon ended. The vortex collapsed in on itself, leaving behind two flags, but now each was a perfect blend of Nova and Quasar energies. Silence reigned for a long moment, broken only by the soft hum of the station's systems. Then, slowly, a murmur began to build. Aliens turned to their neighbors, beings they might have avoided or misunderstood before, with new eyes and newfound empathy. Zara looked around in wonder, her heart racing. This was beyond anything she could have imagined when she proposed a simple game of capture the flag. Somehow, in pushing the boundaries of what was possible, In encouraging these diverse beings to work together and think creatively, they had stumbled upon something profound. Professor Mackenzie is right. We stand on the brink of a new era in galactic relations, but we must proceed carefully. Such power, if misused. Zara nodded sullenly. Agreed, which is why I propose we start small. Let's implement these new integrated activities across the station. Document everything, study the long-term effects. And then, if the results prove consistent, we can think about expanding the program. The Council unanimously agreed, and over the next few months, the Galactic Union Education Station became a laboratory for a radical new approach to interspecies education and cooperation. Zara found herself working around the clock, collaborating with beings she could have never imagined existing just a few short months ago. They developed games that challenged the very concept of physical reality, puzzles that required the unique perceptions of multiple species to solve, and art projects that blended sensory experiences from across the galaxy. The results were nothing short of miraculous. Academic performance soared across all disciplines as students learned to approach problems from entirely new perspectives. Behavioral issues all but disappeared as empathy and understanding became the norm rather than the exception. But it was the unexpected consequences that truly showcased the power of their discovery. A group of students, inspired by their shared experiences, developed a new form of interspecies communication that transcended traditional language barriers. Another team created an art installation that could be perceived across multiple dimensions simultaneously, bridging gaps between realities that had long been thought insurmountable. As news of the station's success spread, delegations from across the galaxy arrived to observe and learn. Even species that had long isolated themselves from galactic affairs began to show interest. 6 months after the fateful game of Capture the Flag, Zara stood before the Galactic Union Assembly, her heart pounding with a mixture of nervousness and excitement. As she looked out at the sea of diverse beings, she took a moment to marvel at how far they had come. Distinguished representatives of the Galactic Union, she began, her voice clear and confident. I stand before you not just as a teacher, not just as a human, but as a citizen of this vast and wondrous galaxy we all call home. What started as a simple game has blossomed into something far greater, a new understanding of what it means to be truly united in our diversity. She went on to outline their findings, the incredible strides made in interspecies cooperation and understanding. As she spoke, she could see the spark of hope igniting in the eyes, or equivalent sensory organs, of the assembled delegates. We have only scratched the surface of what's possible, Zara continued, her voice rising with passion. Imagine a galaxy where conflicts are resolved not through force or diplomacy alone, but through genuine understanding and empathy, where the unique abilities of each species are seen not as differences that divide us, but as strengths that unite us. As she concluded her speech, the assembly hall erupted in a cacophony of cheers, whistles, and other alien sounds of approval. In that moment, Zara knew that they had started something that would ripple across the galaxy for generations to come. In the years that followed, the principles developed at the Galactic Union Education Station spread across the cosmos. Human-style education centers sprang up on countless worlds, each adapting the core concepts to their unique environments and inhabitants. Zara Mackenzie, the teacher who had once nervously stepped off a transport shuttle onto an alien station, became a symbol of interstellar cooperation. But for her, the greatest reward was seeing former students go on to become leaders, innovators, and peacemakers across the galaxy. As she watched the latest batch of students, a dizzying array of life forms from across the cosmos, engage in a game that defied description, Zara smiled to herself. Who would have thought that a simple game of Capture the Flag would lead to all this? In the end, it wasn't about the game itself. It was about the human spirit of curiosity, adaptability, and the unshakable belief that, no matter how different we might appear on the surface, we all share a common desire to learn, to grow, and to connect. And in that simple truth lay the key to unlocking the full potential of a united galaxy. Professor Mackenzie, Administrator Blorks's voice was filled with awe. I believe we may need to rethink our entire approach to education. Zara nodded slowly, her mind still reeling from the implications of what had just occurred. I think you're right, Administrator. But more than that, I think we've just witnessed the birth of something revolutionary. This isn't just about physical education anymore. It's about breaking down the barriers between species, fostering understanding on a level we've never achieved before. As the aliens around her continued to mingle, share experiences, and forge new connections, Zara felt a swell of emotion. She had come to this station hoping to prove the value of human innovation and adaptability. Instead, she found herself at the forefront of a discovery that could reshape intergalactic relations forever. Well, she said, a smile spreading across her face, I guess this means we'll need to come up with some new rules for our next game. The gymnasium filled with laughter, some recognizable, some utterly alien, but all united in a shared moment of joy and discovery. As Zara looked out at the sea of faces, tentacles, and energy forms, she knew that this was just the beginning. The real game, the game of building a truly united galactic community, was only just beginning. The aftermath. In the days following the extraordinary Capture the Flag game, the Galactic Union Education Station buzzed with an energy unlike anything in its centuries-long history. The corridors, once segregated by species, now teemed with a vibrant mix of beings. Crystalline entities engaged in animated discussions with gaseous life forms, while energy beings playfully danced around their more corporeal classmates. Zara Mackenzie found herself at the center of it all, fielding questions from students and faculty alike. As she made her way to an emergency meeting at the station's governing council, she couldn't help but smile at the transformative power of a simple Earth fame. The council chamber was a cacophony of excited chatter when Zara entered. Administrator Blorks, now sporting swirls of gold and purple in their gelatinous form, called for order. Professor Mackenzie, Blorks burbled, please enlighten us. What exactly happened during your game? Zara took a deep breath. To be honest, Administrator, I'm not entirely sure. The game itself worked as intended, fostering teamwork, encouraging creative problem-solving. But the merging of the flags, the shared consciousness experience, that was completely unexpected. A being composed entirely of pulsating light frequencies spoke up. Whatever it was, the effects have been profound. Students who once struggled to communicate across species lines are now collaborating effortlessly. It's as if they've retained some residual understanding from the shared experience. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Zara nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. I believe what we witnessed was more than just a game. It was a breakthrough in interspecies empathy and understanding. Somehow, the combination of diverse abilities, focused on a common goal, created a momentary psychic link. But how do we replicate it? Asked a multi-limbed entity, its numerous appendages gesticulating excitedly. Surely we can't rely on such a phenomenon occurring randomly. Zara's eyes lit up with that familiar spark of human innovation. Maybe we don't have to replicate it exactly. What if we designed more games, more activities that bring together diverse abilities and perspectives, not just in physical education, but across all disciplines? The chamber erupted in a flurry of ideas. A hive mind collective suggested interdisciplinary projects that required input from multiple species. An entity that existed partly in another dimension proposed exchange programs that would literally expand students' perceptions of reality. As the discussion flowed, Zara felt a swell of pride. This was humanity's gift to the galaxy, not advanced technology or military might, but the simple yet powerful concept of learning through play, of bringing diverse individuals together in the spirit of friendly competition and cooperation. There's something else we need to consider, Zara said, her voice cutting through the excited chatter. The implications of this discovery go far beyond education. Think about it. If we can foster this level of understanding and empathy among different species, imagine what it could mean for galactic diplomacy, for solving interstellar conflicts. A hush fell over the chamber as the weight of her words sank in. It was Administrator Blorks who broke the silence, the gelatinous form rippling with excitement.